Hello, beautiful friends. This is Sweet Grace for Your Journey podcast, episode 68. I'm calling this Beautiful One because it goes out to all of you guys out there whom I consider my beautiful friends. I'm going to start out on a little bit different note, though. Let's talk about pain and heartache and mistreatment and rude comments, being treated like a doormat, being pushed around, being taken advantage of, pointed at, whispered about, and made fun of. This is what it's like to be super morbidly obese. I know, I was there. And after losing more than 250 pounds by the grace of God, I am no longer there. But I coach those who are. And when I hear the depths of abuse they go through and have gone through, I get angry that so-called family and friends would treat them less than human. All people have the ability to allow their words to cut through flesh and go like directly to the heart and then walk away and pretend everything is fine, Yeah, it's all good. They might even wonder why the other person is depressed or sad. I mean, maybe they just think, well, that's just the way they are. And then the next day they walk in and they say, did you finish my laundry? When are you coming over to clean my house? Where are the brownies from last night? Don't tell me you ate them all again. And it starts over. And then the obese person does whatever someone she loves wants, because she feels the only time she gets noticed is when she is bending over backwards to take care of other people. But actually, she is inviting and welcoming others to use her until there is nothing left. When all the people are gone and the house is quiet, the cookies and the ice cream and the cake and the donuts come out and they're dancing around. I mean, they are the only things which require nothing of her but seem to quiet the screaming rage she longs to let loose. When those using her find out once again she has binged, they say things like, you'll never lose weight, you'll never amount to anything, you are worthless. They can cut her deeper and deeper until she feels only inches tall. Or maybe they don't say a thing. Maybe they just walk away and don't come around again until they need her to do something for them. Something they can get her to do for free because they know that she needs them and that she'll say yes. It's a ridiculous relationship, but it's one that seems to work on both ends, but does it really? She can't say no because saying no would leave her without anyone. Being at the beck and call of anyone and everyone is what she's doing to make up for the fact that she feels worthless because she's overweight and can't lose weight. She thinks, at least I can do this for them. And then maybe they will love me more if I do more for them. Doing everything for everyone without any boundaries around her time and energy is one thing that is making her continue to go to high carbohydrate foods that she loves. She thinks those foods give her energy. And they do, kind of for a short time, but then her blood sugar will plummet and she needs more to get the same feeling, and thus begins the roller coaster she calls her life. Inside, she is silently angry at all the people she's helping because all she wants is to feel loved and accepted. She's there for everyone else whenever they need her, but they aren't there when she needs them. They're especially not there at midnight when she's eating a whole pound of brownies by herself and crying because she feels alone, abandoned, and worthless. So she eats to shut up the angry child within her, the one who wants to scream at somebody, anybody. And there may even be people around, but she still feels alone. She doesn't feel heard. And then that pesky voice in her head tells her, good girls don't get angry. Good girls are nice. Good girls do what others want them to do. Good girls are people pleasers. And fat girls, well, they have to do everything everyone else wants them to do, or they will be alone. Now, I'm really able to talk about this because I was a lot like that when I weighed 430 pounds. I have some distance now from the person I was back then, but I still remember her and how she felt, and I suppose a part of me always will. I felt like I had to please everyone. I could not speak my mind or offend anyone. And I had to do everything everyone asked me to do. Sure, I had gifts and talents, but I couldn't charge for them. I just couldn't. What if that made someone angry? I felt I had to continue to give and give and give without receiving. As a matter of fact, I couldn't receive. To receive would be taking, and I was not worthy of taking. I was only worthy of giving because everyone else was more important than me. I didn't charge for editing, writing, or putting together a resume or any of those kind of things. All of those were definitely things I should be charging money for, but I didn't feel worthy of taking money for that work because I was the fat girl, and fat girls don't deserve anything. Then I chose a job taking care of other people, the ones no one wanted to take care of, the mentally and behaviorally challenged. At least I felt okay about taking money for doing that because it was not easy work for me. Doing things I love, such as writing, designing, or editing, I could not even fathom making a living from because they were things that came naturally to me. Taking care of mentally and behaviorally challenged teens and young adults was the difficult and challenging thing. And I felt like I was earning the money I made doing that, but it was not what gave me the most joy. In 2011, I did some life coaching for several women. I never charged for that either. Yet people got breakthroughs. I actually had paid a life coach to train me, and I did that basically because I wanted to learn. I was on the health journey. I was on the betterment journey, the betterment of my life kind of journey. And I wanted to learn how I could better myself. So I paid a life coach and I trained with her, and she encouraged me to begin coaching myself and charging for it. As a matter of fact, she got me to the point where I actually was trained with I am certified to be a life coach. But I told her that I didn't feel right about charging for talking to people. She told me that I had been trained, I had experience, and she told me I was designed to coach. But even still, I didn't believe her. I still felt worthless, even though I was well on my weight loss journey by this time and I was being successful at it. My mindset, I think, was still in that super morbidly obese category. It takes a while for your brain to adjust to what your body is doing. And I felt useless. Still, I felt there was no good thing in me because of the bad choices that I had made for most of my life. Now, so much has changed for me. Of course, I've lost over 250 pounds and kept it off since 2013. But more than that, God acknowledged my progress. And that was the big thing for me. He tapped me on the shoulder in January of 2013 and told me to write the book. And I'm like, what book? And he said, it's your story. And that book became Sweet Grace, How I Lost 250 Pounds and Stopped Trying to Earn God's Favor. The book had created interest in my story and why and how I lost that much weight. But that didn't take God by surprise. He knew that was going to happen. And then he does his signature move, the thing you're not looking for or watching for, and called me to coach. But I only wanted to write. I didn't want to coach. I knew I had the skills to write, but coaching was different. It was relatively new to me, even though by this time I had gone through also some additional inner healing programs, and I knew the keys to extreme weight loss very well. Still, I was reluctant because I would be doing it online, which was new and different for me. And I was older by that time. How old was I in 2013? I was 60, I guess. So God assured me, though, that he would be with me every step of the way, and he would bring people alongside me to help me, and he has certainly done that. So I trepidatiously stepped out. And I now, of course, love coaching. I count it a privilege to help women discover their beauty in my Overcomers Christian Weight Loss Academy monthly membership group. But I also work with women through VIP Freedom Coaching, where I work one-on-one with those who really want and desire that individual attention and privacy. I know the value of what God told me when I began coaching. He said, no investment, no commitment. Now that was in regard to the people who come into my group. Should I have them pay a donation? Should I do it for free? Which I'm really glad I didn't do that, because I didn't realize how expensive it is to run an online group. There are a lot of costs involved. But he told me that if they don't have an investment of some kind of monetary investment and time investment, they're not going to get the results they need. And I really see that. I want them to get the value from the experience and understand the concepts and really be committed to the journey. And that's part of the commitment process. My mindset has changed so much from when I was doing everything for free. Well, I still do some free things, like this podcast, like my blog posts and all the free offers I have on my website. So you can go over there to TeresaShieldsParker.com and check them out under the free tab. There's a lot of them under there. I understand now that more than anything, my time is my most valuable resource, and so is yours. God tells us to love others as we love ourselves. For many years, I was not loving myself. I was allowing others to squander my most valuable resource, my time, because I didn't see myself as valuable, didn't love myself. But today, I love myself. And I do that by setting good boundaries, even by hiring others to do work that is more tedious to me, so I can focus on what I do best, which is writing, speaking, and coaching. I oversee the rest, but I'm so grateful for a fabulous team that helps me in many different ways. And of course, I love myself by eating right, exercising, and spending intentional no agenda time with God. And I really need to do a podcast on that sometime. We'll see when that happens. So every minute I take to coach, I see that as an investment in your life. Because I want you to know that you are worth it. So if you're in my monthly group, I read your post, I pray over my responses to you, and I am grieved that you feel the same way I felt when I was super morbidly obese, namely that you are not beautiful, not worth anything, and you should just allow others to romp and stomp all over you. This is just not true. And it is especially not the way God feels about you, because he sees you as his beautiful and priceless daughter. It's so important to understand that we matter to God. This was a hard concept for me to grasp. It became a stronghold in my life because it was fueled from the feeling that I had growing up that I mattered to everyone else, but I didn't matter to my mother. Now, perhaps it was just that she took me for granted because I was the oldest, and when she couldn't function as the mother because of her manic depression, I was there to step in. Or maybe she was jealous that I took over that place because I was basically a kid from around age 8 to around age 12 when she was the most sick. And whatever thing needed to be done, I would find a way to get it done because my dad was usually gone working and he would be back in the evenings, but during the daytime, that was really usually the case. And whatever happened, I don't know what the dynamics were, but I interpreted the things that she said to me as, you don't matter. So that transferred to a stronghold in me that said, I don't matter to the Holy Spirit. He can't comfort me. I'm here, but I don't matter. Just like my mother never comforted me or guided me because I don't matter. And it was after she passed away that I realized I really did matter to her. And I tell that story in my new book, Sweet Surrender, Breaking Strongholds, and that link will be down in the show notes. It was really a pivotal moment in my life when I saw that she had saved every article I had ever written. I don't even know how she got her hands on all of them. No one, especially not me, knew that she had done that. It just screamed loudly to me that no matter what she had said through the years, I did matter to her. The result of her actions spoke louder than her words. That truth then immediately opened my eyes to see that I do matter to the Holy Spirit because of the actions that he has taken me on and how he's led me every step in my journey. I matter to God. We all do. That realization was helpful when I began to allow God to lead me on my weight loss journey, which has really been a journey of discarding ingrained habits and ways of living and replacing them with better habits. So some of the habits I discarded are eating what I wanted when I wanted and whatever quantity I wanted, not moving, not caring whether I moved or not thinking creatively or outside the box I had created to keep life and spiritual beliefs and emotions safe and tidy without any messiness, and not protecting my boundaries and energy so that I could really love others in the right manner. So this meant that I had to learn how to trust God with every single part of me, like we talked about last week on the podcast, Loved into Existence. On more than one occasion, I've heard that still small voice of God speaking directly to my heart. Now, I'm going to share what I've heard God say to me on many occasions. And as I do, I want you to imagine that he is talking directly to you. Okay? Hey, beautiful one, I see you, the real you, the wonderful woman you are, a woman with thoughts and feelings, knowledge and wisdom. I see the gold inside of you, the person who was buried a long time ago through all the pain and hurts of your life. the one you tried to bury with more and more and more foods that are only making you sicker. Still, I love you, beautiful one. I love who you are. I love who you are becoming. I love every piece of you. I don't want you used or abused by yourself or anyone else. I want you to love yourself like I love you. And I love you more than you can ever comprehend. Now, I want you to recognize how his words make you feel safe and secure. Now, if we could only live inside those words, our life would be perfect, right? Perfect bubble. But inevitably, the evil one will move in to try us. He may come in the form of that friend or family member who shows up wanting you to do their laundry or fix them something to eat or balance their bank statement or do their taxes or whatever. And that same pesky voice that you've heard before is going to be pushing you to just not make waves. Do whatever they say. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to be alone anymore. But hey, you know that still, small, loving, gentle voice that belongs to God? Well, this is where that voice begins thundering in your heart and soul, and you can actually feel your heart pounding as his voice comes from the one who loves you completely and speaks to your soul. Beautiful one, you are worth so much more than all of this. You are treasured. You are sacred. You are mine, and I'm giving you permission to say no. And then he reminds you that you have become his poetry. You are one of the recreated ones who will fulfill the destiny he has given you because you are joined to Jesus. And he pulls back the curtains of the universe and shows you that even before you were born, he had your destiny all planned out and the good works you would do. If you listen to his voice and do what he says, you will fulfill all the plans he has for you. It is written. It's in his book. And I pray that you really understand what I'm trying to say here is that you don't need to continue to invite others to use you and break your boundaries in order to make you feel better about yourself. You are enough because God is enough in you. Now, you might feel weak embarking on this kind of a new journey, but the really great thing about knowing we are weak is that this is the exact time when we also realize now that we have admitted our weakness, we can get out of his way. And God can be strong in us, making us truly able, truly powerful, truly drawing from his strength. We are never alone because God is always with us. He supplies everything we need. So right now, I just want you to know that more than anything, you are loved by the God of the universe. He has great plans for you, and it doesn't involve running yourself ragged, volunteering for everything under the sun. Doing what you do out of guilt is going to preclude you from doing what God has designed you to do. That might just be, at this point in time, losing weight and getting healthy. You know, when I went on my weight loss journey, I got out of everything. I was doing like boards of directors. I stopped doing volunteer jobs that I thought were making me more godly. And I did the most godly thing I could do at the time. I gave myself completely to my own health journey. I started going to a Christian weight loss coach and weight loss group I saw a counselor, a nutritionist, a trainer, a doctor, specialist, and I began a exercise regimen. I invested in myself so I could change my habits. It wasn't to look better or feel better, though I wanted both of those. It was to live better, to live more in tune with what God wanted for me, and I am the better for it. Here's the truth. If you are stuck in bad habits that are taking you further from God, struggling and fighting against them may only get you more entangled in them. It takes releasing your hold on them by recognizing where they began in the first place. And that takes a little bit of help from a trained coach to help you understand. You might want to forgive people who were involved in how you understood things as a kid. Renounce the lie that Jesus, God, or the Holy Spirit will treat you that same way. And then hear his truth, ask him his truth, and surrender to what he wants for your life. These are really situations I love to help you with. Many have gotten breakthroughs by working with me on these and other issues in Overcomers Academy, and especially in VIP Freedom Coaching, where that's the main thing we work on. But both of those are open now. If you need my help, the links will be down in the show notes. Please go to teresashieldsparker.com, and the weight loss tab will give you both of those links. I really would love to help you and love to work with you as you embark on this journey, whatever kind of journey you're on. Okay, it can be weight loss, or it can just be pulling back from being used by others, which is a big deal in and of itself. So until next week, sweet grace for your journey.